Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to day 3 of Ignite. My name is James Skay, and I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager for the Microsoft Teams Meetings experience. And with me, I have
Ian Mikatel. I'm a Senior Product Manager on the Microsoft Whiteboard product.
And today we want to make sure that you take away from here how to get the most out of your meetings with Microsoft Teams. So here's some session objectives that I want to just cover to make sure that you're here for the right reason. So I'm going to cover from a Teams meeting experience the different types of meetings, help you identify when and where you can use what, and have some best practices to take home. And in addition to that, I'm going to talk about the Teams meeting experience as it relates to a meeting lifecycle. We built Microsoft Teams around this idea that we want your meetings to be as effective as possible, and we created this process that we call a meeting lifecycle. And I want you to be able to see how you can take that back to your organization. And then Ian's actually going to share some great tips and tricks for the new Microsoft Whiteboard integration, including the GA announcement this week with Microsoft Teams.
That's right.
Awesome. So you, if you don't know it, are part of a learning path. So you're at the first of 5 sessions on this learning path for meetings. So on the board here, I just wanted to call out the rest of today's sessions. So depending upon where you sit related to wanting to learn more about meetings, most of the sessions will be here. In fact, I'm speaking next hour on what's new for Microsoft Teams meetings. Then there's going to be a Microsoft Teams room session shortly thereafter. I believe it's in a different room. For those of you that use Skype for Business Server, we have some great tips and tricks and a configuration that we call Teams Meetings First that allow you to keep your Skype for Business server going for your on-premises with chat and voice, but moving your meetings workload to the cloud with Microsoft Teams. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about Teams live events and how you can scale from 2 to 10,000 users. There's a deeper dive on that this evening or this afternoon at 3:15. Sound good? So with that, let's actually dive into meetings. And as the Teams meeting lead from a marketing perspective, I like to make sure that teams that gather today for meetings can be as effective as possible. Teams was built around this philosophy of letting people get more out of their meetings. Today, I think about meetings as being a series of chaos. And I say that in a good way, but in a way I think a lot of us can understand. Running from one meeting to the next, maybe getting an opportunity to grab a bite to eat, barely being able to reply to an email, let alone jot down a note about what happened. And so when we think about your company and your customers and your employees, like how much are they really getting out of meetings? Are they showing up to meetings feeling unprepared? Are there distractions, whether they're visual or technology, that's getting in their way of being able to effectively get the most from their meetings? For me, what's really key is remote attendees. I think everybody has a voice, whether you're across the table, down the hall, or across the globe. And with more meetings today being geographically distributed, with people working remotely, every voice needs to be heard, and Microsoft Teams is a great way to make that happen. And so these are just some of the areas I'd like to call out in terms of what are you seeing within your organization? And let's double click and figure out how Microsoft Teams can help you with that. So on the screen, as I mentioned, I think about Teams across 4 disparate areas: scheduled, ad hoc, channel, and then live events. The majority of us spend our time in what I call scheduled or structured meetings. These meetings typically are scheduled a day, an hour, maybe a couple weeks in advance, typically with more than one participant. Usually it's a large group. And as part of that, you can, what I call, take advantage of our meeting lifecycle, which I'll get to in a few minutes. There's also times where you want to have just like a spontaneous meeting. Hey, Joe, I want to get your attention on this before I send this up the chain. What do you think? You might just have an ad hoc meeting. Click Meet Now in Teams, add an email address, whether it's inside your organization or out. Super simple and super easy. A lot of customers have daily stand-ups or scrum meetings. Any in here have that in their organization? Perfect. Within Teams, we have channels. And within channels, we can have channel meetings where that context stays within that channel. And I'll talk about that later as we think about how meetings have been orchestrated within Microsoft Teams. And then last but not least, I think about Teams live events. As I mentioned, you can scale from 2 users up to 10,000 and even beyond. And as part of that, that's where companies actually can host town halls, all company, all hands, and even webinars. It's a structured meeting in the sense that it's a one-to-many, so people aren't able to unmute, they don't turn on their webcams. It's actually a great way for you to be able to provide information at scale. But we do make live events interactive in a way that we provide a Q&A manager built into Microsoft Teams that allows you and your production staff to actually be able to monitor and answer questions, whether direct to the requester or publish it out to the group. But for today, and for this next section, I want to talk about scheduled meetings in the context of what I call a Microsoft Teams meetings lifecycle. Microsoft Teams was built to tackle this in mind. When we think about the meeting lifecycle, think about the meeting from the perspective of 3 areas: before the meeting, during the meeting, and after. Think about before. I don't know how many of you may have received an invite that says, "Hey James, let's connect at 1 o'clock." Okay. Is that compelling enough for me to accept? Usually it's based on who sends it. But it'd be great to have context. What are we meeting about? Any pre-reads? What should I know coming into this meeting that will let me be an active contributor? Think about during. This is where the magic happens. And again, I talked about remote attendees. I talked about everybody having a voice. Super important that they do. And so this during component is again, the crux of the meeting. I'll talk about this on the next slide. And then after, the best, the most effective meeting never happened if what came from the meeting was documented or communicated out. And so I think a lot of us today get caught up in what I call the chaos running from one meeting to the next. It's not until maybe you get home or you're on your commute home that you realize, hey, I never got those meeting notes, or perhaps I didn't send those meeting notes out. So let's put this into real-world action. How does Microsoft Teams help tackle this problem? So you can see here before. Chat with attendees. Maybe instead of sending out a pre-read via email with an attachment, which, by the way, I still get emails with pre-read with an actual attachment, not even a Cloud Doc, but an attachment. And then the day before the meeting, updated. Okay, which version should I be using? How do I contribute besides replying back to an email? Microsoft Teams chat within this idea of this meeting lifecycle. Our object allows people to reach out to meeting attendees ahead of time to share information and files. You don't know who's going to be in the meeting, perhaps you can look at the people card within Teams to understand who the other meeting attendees are. The power of Microsoft Teams meetings is the fact that it meets where your files, your chats, and all your conversations live. And one of the biggest components of this is the Office 365 app integration. Collaboration is super simple within Teams, and so we'll talk about that. I'll actually show you in just a moment. But how many of you saw the keynote on Monday? Jared Spataro, 2 p.m. In fact, you've kind of seen it throughout Monday. We are announcing live captions. Live captions will preview soon in English, followed by other languages early next year and beyond, where we want every voice to be heard, not just spoken, but to be heard and read. We think about people that may have hearing impairment. Maybe English isn't their first language, or the spoken language isn't their first, or you could be in a coffee shop and you just can't hear, and so to be able to follow along with live captions will allow you to do so. And then I'm actually going to demo, in this session, the mobile experience. The Teams meetings, or the Teams mobile application is super powerful from a meetings perspective. I can't tell you how many meetings I've actually taken when I'm traveling on a train or in a subway where I'm actually able to upload a deck from OneDrive and actually control it from my phone while I'm sitting in a train. In addition to that, I can begin cloud recording. I can do almost everything on my mobile phone or my tablet that I can do on the Teams native application on my desktop. And then after, I talked about the best meeting didn't happen unless there's some artifact from there. With built-in meeting notes, cloud recording, stream that actually provides transcripts from your meeting built into the cloud recording, your meeting is actually captured. And I'll show you some of those examples. So how does this meeting lifecycle work for you? I kind of touched over it, but I wanted just to iterate one thing here. Every meeting has 4 components: chat, files, meeting notes, and a whiteboard. And Ian's going to show you some pretty cool stuff on the whiteboard during his section. Start to think about meetings as an object. How do I attach context? How do I attach files? How do I attach information to the meeting? And we'll show that. And so what better way than to make this real than with a demo? Can I get a a show of hands, how many people in here today are a Teams meeting user? Perfect. A lot of you, that's awesome. So I just want to make sure, selfish plug for my next session, which is the what's new. So you're going to see a lot of stuff this morning that you may be familiar with, and then probably some stuff that you might not be. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Microsoft Teams, Meetings, just want to call that out. Meetings lives in the calendar view. When you first started, this may have actually been labeled Meetings for you. It's important to call it that it's calendar because it's a mirror image of your Office 365 or your Exchange calendar. You have meetings in person, you have meetings with other competitive products. They're going to show up here. You can easily view your calendar in a one-stop shop. I talked about that ad hoc meeting. That's where I'd click here to meet now. Easily be able to click here, type a quick title of what this would be. See the stage? I'll talk about the stage in just a minute. Join the meeting, and as simple as entering an email address, be able to bring somebody into the meeting as easy as that. I talked about inviting people outside your organization. With Teams meetings and WebRTC support, guests can easily join your meetings with as simple as one click. And I'll talk more about that. But I talked about the meeting lifecycle. So I have this meeting, you can see here, it's a marketing plan review. So I can either join the meeting, I can view it, I am the organizer here, or I can choose to chat with participants. So in this case, looks like there's some folks that have already started chatting here. So imagine I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to say, hey guys, here's the pre-read, and imagine this was for tomorrow. I can either choose to upload from my computer or upload from my OneDrive a particular file. And so we're going to upload this to this meeting. So you notice that I went to, here is the pre-read. Ignite is a little stressful for some of us, and so we are a little last minute, but in a good meeting hygiene, I would have done this last night if this were a real meeting. But again, I went to calendar, I right-clicked on my meeting, and I said, chat with participants. And again, this is persistent here. Now, you'll notice I put the OneDrive file here. It's not extra file storage, it's actually a link. We're using metadata to link this together. Teams in the backend is making sure all my meeting participants have permissions to this file, super seamless. I can also click on files to see what files have been attached with some type of context to this meeting. So imagine had I sent out a pre-read last week, that would have been linked in here, even though that would have been included as part of the chat. From a meetings perspective, this is where I can start to click and say, take notes. I could even put in a pre-read or an agenda. Here are the proposed topics. You can even mention individuals in the meeting notes. What's great about these meeting notes is everybody can contribute in real time before, during, and after the meeting. And then we have Whiteboard, which we'll talk about. So I'm going to join. Click on join, and then you can see here what I call the pre-join meeting stage. There's a couple different things that I want to call out. Video. Video's on default. We see people use more video with Microsoft Teams than ever before. All of you today have background blur in your tenants. And in my next session, I'm going to talk more about the custom backgrounds, but I'll give you a quick preview. In fact, some of my colleagues are going to be in the meeting, and you'll see. It's hard to see back here, but the system actually has blurred my background. I can click here to customize my audio device settings, get my preferred speaker or microphone. If I'm making a high-stakes or joining a high-stakes meeting where I want to make sure that my system is set up appropriately, I can make a test call ahead of time to make sure that everything is front and center. And I can also choose which camera that I want to use. So I'm going to join now. And actually, I'm going to make sure my speakers are muted because I think some of my colleagues are in the room. And what you see, we have a San Francisco fan in the house. These are my colleagues. And so, hi everybody, thank you for joining. And so as part of this, I want to make sure that, we have a couple 49ers fans. Nice. I talked about the meeting life cycle. So one of the most important things, let's just say that, you know what, I'm super busy, I just want to record this meeting. How many of you today actually use cloud recording? A few of you. Let me tell you something that'll change your life. Cloud recording will. Simple as clicking on this ellipses, going up and start recording. It's automatically done. File, when it's done, actually is stored in Stream, which is included as part of your Office 365 subscription. It's there, it's already automatically in the background, and we'll come back to this in just a few minutes. We also talked about live captions, and again, we'll talk more about this tomorrow. There's this inclusive perspective of making sure every voice is heard. And so what I want to make sure of, let me unmute my microphone. Good morning, everybody. You'll notice that live captions are just as though somebody is typing in the background. Even things such as proper names. I love Microsoft Teams. You'll notice that it capitalized Microsoft Teams, and I do love it. It's just not a marketing gimmick. But from this perspective, it allows me to make sure that other people that want to follow along to my spoken word are able to read it. As I mentioned, this is coming out in English, and it's rolling out soon. Turn it on. It's enabled by the tenants by default, but it's up to you to turn it on within your meeting specifically. And at this point, I want to actually share a PowerPoint. And just like we had with Microsoft Teams or with Skype for Business, we can add SharePoint files right in the meeting. And you'll notice, for example, that I had my recent PowerPoint presentation that I just worked on right in the share tray based on the Office 365 files in the Office graph. And so you'll notice here my deck is projected and I'm able to control it as I normally would. And from an external meeting perspective, whoops, not sure what's going on. Let's try a different deck. You're able to control, just like you did in Skype for Business, you can allow people to skip ahead or you can lock down the presentation such that it's only available for you to control yourself. I can also choose to, here we go, here's my slides. I can choose to lock this such that people can only stick with me, or if people are an attendee, they can actually skip ahead and they can choose to click back to go back to the presenter view. In addition, I can choose to, I'm going to stop presenting, I can choose to share my screen, an application, or a whiteboard, which Ian will talk about in just a few. What's really great about Microsoft Teams is when you share an application, remember before, many of you use Skype for Business, if you had a toast or a notification that popped up, you get that black box. All that's gone. It's as though the meeting is unobstructed or the area is unobstructed whatsoever. And then last but not least, we have chat. You'll notice that pre-meeting chat came through here. And as you can see that I had included the pre-read, and then when I started meeting notes, it's right here. And so I can actually see the chat, the conversation coming from my colleagues. And just like we can with Teams, we can go through and provide emotion within our own chat. So that's the desktop experience. And so what I want to show you is the mobile experience. Do we have any people in the house that use their mobile phone to join Teams meetings? What about presenting? Have any of you presented from your meeting or your mobile device? A few of you. Okay, they're in for a treat. Okay. We're going to flip over to my phone. So you'll notice the very first thing, top of the screen, you notice that in progress, the marketing plan review. Do I want to join on this device? This is a great way in case I want to go from one machine to another or from my desktop to my mobile phone. I just simply click join. Do I want to add this device or transfer? So in this case, I'm going to add. And by the way, this transfer functionality is on its way. It's not here yet. I'm in an early preview ring. So I'm going to add this device. And so what adding this device allows me to do is, again, still see my colleagues. I can rotate to see them in a different way, just like I do on my desktop. And again, I talked about cloud recording. Notice it allows me here to stop it. So I'm going to stop recording. I want Stream to process that, and we'll come back to it in just a moment. But from here, I can choose to call me back using audio conferencing. I can choose to share. I can choose to do dial pad. I can choose to shut off incoming video. In fact, there's some smart alerts within Teams meetings where if you're on a low battery, you'll get an intelligent prompt that says, would you like to shut off video in order to conserve your battery? And we'll talk more in the next session on quality too with the improvements. But what I want to do is show how easy it is to share from PowerPoint. Actually, before I do, people don't know about this. Let me just share my screen. I'm actually going, and it's hard for you to see because I'm sharing my actual phone with you, and it might not let me do this because I'm plugged in. So hold on one second. I'm going to unplug. I'm going to go back to my other window. So what you see here, I'm unplugged. What you see here is my actual phone. I'm presenting my actual screen, the full screen from my iPhone, so whether or not I want to go in and show another application, or I want to actually pull up a file, I can easily do that seamlessly within Microsoft Teams through the app, no additional steps necessary. Let me find my cable and plug it back in. Next, I'm going to actually upload a PowerPoint, share, PowerPoint, and we're going to go back to that GTM plan. Now, many of you are used to having your laptop connected to a screen presenting. If you use a Microsoft Teams Room device, anybody in here use MTRs or Skype Room systems? Perfect. Join the meeting. Next thing you know, this becomes your clicker. There's no longer a need for you to have either your hand on your laptop or a separate clicker. I can actually advance the slides directly from my mobile phone as though I was seamlessly touching or swiping from my laptop directly there. And then again, just like before, I can click up here in the upper right to either go back to my chat. Oh, please clap. I'm not sure what feature that was for, maybe the screen sharing, but JLo did it, so we're good. I can also go back here and I can choose to add additional people. Hey, we were supposed to add Paula to this call or this meeting. Simply add her, join it, seamless, way to go. And so that is the mobile experience. Hopefully you guys have found something that actually resonates, that will help you. The other thing that I want to share is I'm going to share video. So a lot of folks, just like I was showing my screen, I'm going to disconnect from this device, and I'm going to share video. And this video is going to come in as a piece of content in my meeting. So you'll notice that I can actually add video to the room. So imagine if you don't have a magic whiteboard or you don't want to use the digital whiteboard, you could bring in a phone or device. Oh, there we have Pally in the front row. You can actually use your mobile phone as a content capture in your system. Now, a lot of people say, I could do this today already. You just turn on your webcam, but what does that do? It puts you either into a little square on the bottom, or it puts you somewhere half the screen. It does not come across as a piece of content. Okay, so I'm going to stop presenting there. I talked about cloud recording, so I'm going to go back. Let's see if Stream has processed my file yet. Go back to chat here. Here we go. So notice I started a cloud recording. Imagine this meeting is now over. Thank you guys for joining. You can log off for now. Imagine I missed the meeting. I come back in here. I can click, again, chat within the meeting. It's keeping the context together. And it shows my meeting participants. I can actually, by default, captions are turned on. We'll wait for me to actually unmute my microphone. So you'll notice that the captions are coming on, and I can turn them on and turn them off however I see fit. However, how cool would it be if I could do a search for a word or a phrase or even my name and jump to the point in time where that was actually mentioned in the meeting? Right? A 45 or 60-minute meeting can now actually become 10 or 15 minutes for you to be able to jump in and understand if there was any key actions for you. So remember what I said. Cloud recording can help you tremendously from a productivity perspective. It's an artifact. The worst thing that you could do is turn on cloud recording and just let it go and then it's stopped. You want to go back in time and actually reference it or search the transcript? You can. You don't need it. Delete the file. Super easy, super simple. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was channel meetings. So we talked about before, in particular channels, there's collaboration that takes place. There are, you can see here, this is a channel meeting that took place from a marketing sync, and the recording didn't get stuck in, or didn't get added to the meeting object. It got added to the meeting object in the channel because that is actually the proper area where we want to store that from a context perspective. But let's just say that I want to start a meeting right now in marketing, in this marketing channel. So for those of you that use Teams and channels, you know how you can subscribe to alerts from a particular channel? I can do two things here. I can say, quick huddle on budget forecast. And I can say meet now. It also allows me to schedule a meeting. I jump straight in, and what happens is those that have alerts from that channel get a toast that there's a channel meeting in progress, and it allows them to join very easily. By the way, notice how it says my speakers are muted. How many times have you joined a meeting? You're like, I can't hear you. Can you hear them? I can't hear them. Teams intelligently prompts you with these notifications. Just like if I had my microphone muted, and I start talking, Teams is actually going to recognize that my microphone, usually, it's going to recognize my microphone is muted and actually tell me that I am muted during the meeting. So that is a channel meeting. And then from a scheduling perspective, I talked about ad hoc. We also have new meetings. You can schedule meetings whether in Outlook or you're in Teams. But if you want to add a particular channel, you can do so here. So typically you just add your title, your content, and you add the location and your particular attendees. But if you want to add a channel, this is where you do so. The other thing that I want to mention here is, like I mentioned, very easily to be able to add external meeting join people or external guests from your organization to a Teams meeting as simple as clicking a link. And I'll actually have more information on that in my next session. And so with that, I want to turn it over to Ian to talk about Whiteboard.
Perfect. Get the clicker. All right, thanks, James. I am super excited to be here. I work on the Microsoft Whiteboard product side, so with the engineers, and I've worked on this product for a few years now, and we started on Surface Hub devices. We expanded out to Windows 10 and iOS, and this week we announced general availability for Whiteboard inside of Teams. But we did some special stuff inside of Teams to make this a really unique experience. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but I actually wanted to start with just giving you kind of an overview on what is the Whiteboard product. It's one of the newest Microsoft has. A lot of you may not have even tried it before or knew about it. So really simply, kind of our slogan is it's a free-form, limitless, intelligent canvas. It's free-form in that you just get as much space as you want on any whiteboard. It's not bound by any particular size. And then it's intelligent because we do some really cool things when you put content on the canvas, on the whiteboard. I like to tell people if you put like kind of a quarter on the canvas, you'll get $1 back. Like we always are trying to do a little bit more for you. And it's kind of optimized for modern ways of working, modern input types. So we've done a ton of work to make it work seamlessly with ink and touch, but a lot of people think that's all it does. And we've also done a ton of work to make it work great with keyboard and mouse. So really the idea is bring any device type, anybody to the table, and start collaborating together on the whiteboard, just like you would on an analog whiteboard. So I'm going to kind of give you a couple bits of my favorite things in Whiteboard. You may have seen this in Satya's demo on Monday. This is something in the GIF here that we call ink grab. So what this does is, how many times have you been in a meeting room and you have an analog whiteboard and you take a picture of it because you got to get going, and you're like, oh no, or you write "do not erase." It's just the silliest thing, right? It's crazy to me. So the idea with this is take that picture, but then drop it on the digital whiteboard. And then you hit one button. There's a little magic wand that pops up when you tap on the image, and we convert that analog image into real digital ink. You might say, well, why does that matter? Is this just some kind of technical whiz-bang thing? No, it actually matters because now you can take it forward. You can do more with it. So you can erase a piece of that thing that was on the wall in the app now. You can take it to the next meeting. So this is really powerful. The other one I want to highlight here, there's a bunch to go check out. The other really cool AI feature in Whiteboard is something we call ink beautification. So the number one reason, I actually have worked in the digital inking space for about 5 or 6 years now. I worked on OneNote before that. And the number one reason that people say I don't use pen and ink is because they say my handwriting is bad. And it's a little embarrassing. I have to go back to my office and retype my notes. Like it's a waste of time. So ink beautification helps you with that. One button, you convert your ink into much easier to read, legible handwriting. It's really cool. I would encourage you to check it out. So part of the thing about Whiteboard too is that it is digital by nature, and it's saving all the time, and it helps people that have remote teams, even partially remote, work better together. So one of the most difficult things to manage is if you have partly remote teammates and you're using an analog whiteboard, to get them to feel like they're at that table with you, right, to do that brainstorm session. So we do a lot of stuff in the whiteboard app, like one-touch sharing. We kind of show, I like to call it almost like karaoke bobbleheads near where you're writing on the board. We call it presence. And all these things help people feel like they are really a part of the meeting, no matter where they are. One other thing we recently introduced is reactions. So any piece of content on the whiteboard, you can tap on it, just like in Teams, and you can give it a thumbs up. And we'll count the amount of thumbs up. That's great if you're doing a brainstorm session, right? And you want to see what are the best ideas. Let's do a quick vote at the end. What are the biggest issues? Whatever it may be. It's really powerful. So then we get into Teams. And this has been a journey for us. We started out thinking, okay, well, let's just take our whiteboard and put it inside of Teams. And that's going to be really powerful. That's a good start. But then we realized that there's a hurdle there for people if everybody had to go launch the whiteboard when you're in a meeting. Imagine trying to coordinate that, right? It's not like the PowerPoint where you're sharing it and it's a screen share. You need people to actually be running the whiteboard app so that they can contribute. So what would you do? You wouldn't want to say, okay, everybody, 3, 2, 1, you wanted to have that be easier. So now in Teams, as of this week, every Teams user has the ability to one-touch start a whiteboard for everybody in the meeting. So what this is, and I'll just emphasize it because sometimes people get confused, it's not a screen share. So you're tapping it, you may start the whiteboard. You saw James showing you the share tray in the meeting, and you see the little blue tile there. If James were to tap that and he was in a meeting with all of us, on your individual machines now, you would see the whiteboard app load, and you can now start contributing. So it's a one-click way in a Teams meeting to bring real-time collaboration instantly. Super simple. This works on mobile as well, so you can view the whiteboards on mobile devices, so it doesn't matter what kind of device type you're on. It's just a really powerful way to kind of do visual brainstorming, collaboration stuff that is really hard to get across when you're just typing. So kind of want to wrap up with a couple things here. One is we always are saving automatically. We don't want you to have to think about that when you're in the middle of brainstorming or trying to ideate or problem solve. And one of the things that I just wanted to call out is that a lot of the functionality that you may see today in our Windows 10 or iOS apps is coming to Teams and our web app over the course of this year. So this week we announced general availability of our web app as well on office.com for all commercial customers. So you can access it there. You'll see it in every Teams meeting that you may start. And I'm just super excited to see what you all do with it. So appreciate the time today, and I'm going to hand it back over to James to keep going.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian. So I want to be able to offer you some insight from another Teams meetings customer. I'd like to introduce you to Paulo Congas from Kone. And he is here to talk about his meetings experience using Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, thanks a lot, James. It's really great to be here. And my name is Pauli Kongas, and I work in a really great Finnish company called Kone, and I own the area of unified communications and collaboration in our company.
So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about Kone and how you actually are using Teams, and specifically maybe even Teams meetings?
Okay, maybe if we start a while about our company. Well, first think about Ignite. I think this is a great event. We have a lot of different kind of rooms with a lot of people moving around, and it's actually quite a feat how do we manage to organize this kind of event with people moving around. And this is actually something that should make me from Kone feel at home, because we are in a people flow business. So instead of arranging conferences, we actually make cities better places to live. And with our elevators and escalators, we move over 1 billion people every day. So it's 1 billion people every day. It's even more than at Ignite. So
that's a bunch of Ignites. That's awesome.
And maybe about the demographics of our company, we come from Finland. We are over 100 years old, and we have actually almost 60,000 people working in almost 60,000 people working in over 60 countries. And that's maybe one thing when it comes to Teams meetings and these tools. So actually what our job is, my job and our team's job, is to enable all these people in different countries around the world to work together with our customers and partners. So we want to enable people to work in ways that are more productive, more engaging, and then also more sustainable. You don't have to travel to Orlando for every meeting.
Nice.
Only maybe once a year.
Nice. Now, actually, how many of you in the room are on maybe your journey from Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams? Okay, I'd like to call something out here. So just this week, actually, why don't you share the great news that happened actually yesterday within your organization?
Yeah, even though we are here with one of my team member here in Orlando, we did this great thing this week. So actually we switched all our 55,000 users to Teams only mode. So this was a bit of an escape plan to come here in case something explodes. But actually everything went really well. We had actually before done this experiment with 2,000 people. It went quite well. We got something like 10 support tickets during the first month for those 2,000, and we were actually quite confident that this is going to succeed, and that's why we managed to do it. So.
When I saw Paolo this morning, I was like, wow, you look really well rested for having just migrated 55,000 people into Teams only, and he's like, it was amazing. So it can be done, and do you have any advice for people that are in that process of going from Skype for Business to Teams?
Well, it's sort of a big process, but we have, I think that actually people are quite happy getting in of Teams. But it needs quite a lot of communication and change management, and maybe some things we did really well. It took almost 1 year, this process of growing the user base of Teams and then doing sort of like a final cutoff this week. But it takes a lot of preparation, but also we got some feedback that actually could we have actually done this faster. So in our feedback we had in an engagement survey, people said that, okay, we could have gotten rid of Skype earlier, but I think that we did quite good.
Nice. Well, let's actually talk about how your company uses Teams, and specifically, let's talk about meetings.
Okay. So now, beginning this week, Teams is actually the tool we use for meetings at Kone. And thinking about this kind of usual Teams day at a company like Kone, so we have actually over 150,000 messages every day. We have over 4,000 meetings every day, and we have 4,000 calls every day. So actually, okay, we use Teams for meetings and also for other purposes like team collaboration. Maybe don't discuss that there today in detail, but it's important also in other aspects. And I think that this is actually something, why should you be interested? Maybe this is my main point here. Why should you be interested in meetings, and why should you be here? When you take these 4,000 meetings every day and you think about how many meetings we have every year, so it's close to 1 million meetings every year in Teams. So if you take those 1 million meetings and make them even a bit more efficient, then you can sort of like have huge gains, or maybe leave even some meetings out. You don't have to have all those 1 million online meetings.
No, absolutely. In fact,
every time.
we were talking about the meeting lifecycle, and you said, actually, we use this at Kone.
Yeah.
The idea of having that pre-meeting chat get closed rather than actually have the meeting occur has actually happened multiple times.
Yeah. It's actually, maybe I have this meeting philosophy coming from the Far East, perhaps art of war kind of approach, that maybe sometimes the best meeting is the meeting you never have. So actually, using Teams, I have actually had the experience sometimes myself, and people are also experiencing it, that you think about, okay, maybe I set up a meeting on this question, and then you start discussing it in Teams. And actually you find out that, hey, it was actually enough to discuss it in here. We don't have to have even a meeting for this. So maybe, like previously, our answer to everything has been, okay, this is not a good advert for meetings, but it has been sort of like, hey, let's have a meeting on this question. So maybe this is something you can avoid. You don't have to use 1 hour with 5 people every time, but you can actually discuss the topic in Teams and then note, hey, we don't even have to have this meeting. So maybe taking those million online meetings every day, maybe you can save a lot of time and effort by actually not having the meeting. That's maybe my advice. Teams meetings are great, but don't have them every time.
Let's talk about the life cycle for just a moment.
Yeah.
How do you guys use the life cycle in your meeting structure today at Kone?
Yeah, actually, I like the idea of handling the whole meeting cycle, life cycle in Teams a lot. So maybe what we do usually is that when we have this kind of structured meeting, that you can post the agenda beforehand into Teams, have a discussion around that, hey, in some cases we put the agenda there like 1 week before, in some bad cases 1 hour before, during the meeting, but also discuss that, and also have the documents if you need some pre-reading, if you have a complicated agenda and you require some like contribution from other members. And then what I like a lot about this, I feel that often we fail in meetings of not doing the proper follow-up. So you have a great preparation, you have the meeting, then everyone just goes and has another cup of coffee and goes to the next meeting,
Nice.
as you said. So how I find is that Teams enables us to have in one place then this follow-up and maybe the actions in Planner, for example. We use that sometimes.
Nice. Let's talk briefly, like what is the one feature that you've either seen this week that's just announced or is coming for Microsoft Teams meetings?
Well, thinking about what you guys said, I think I'm a great fan of the whiteboard feature. It looks nice. Because, okay, I'm also a huge fan of paper. Do you know this medium? Where you can take a pen and write stuff. So in many cases, when we have this kind of workshop-like event, there are people in a room, you are drawing something on the whiteboard, on Post-it notes and everything. And actually the people who are then taking part online in Teams are sort of like left out of that process. They don't get to participate sort of like in forming the results of that meeting, or they are not that engaged. So what I'm thinking about having these richer meeting experiences with enabling the whiteboard, enabling all the people who are online to draw and including them also in the meeting in a more concrete way. That's something I really look forward to. And also related to that, of course, trying the new Surface hubs we're looking
Nice.
at also. So could we have this digital whiteboard experience so that it's easy to include everyone there? So
Awesome.
that's one thing.
Let's give it up for Polly, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, I want to leave you with a couple closing thoughts. So we've talked a lot about the Teams meeting experience, specifically as it relates to desktop, mobile. But let's also talk about audio conferencing. Not a lot of people are aware that Microsoft offers audio conferencing. What is audio conferencing? Think about those times where you just pick up the phone, you don't have internet, might have not a fast enough data signal in order to have VoIP. Audio conferencing is available in over 72 countries, allows you to have dial-in coordinates for your meetings, also allows you to have the system or service call you back on your preferred device. We have dial-in numbers in over 90 countries and 400 cities. If you're not familiar with what audio conferencing looks like, you can see here, this is what it gets attached as part of your meeting invite. So you'll notice that there's a phone number on that lower right-hand section. If you don't have audio conferencing, you don't see the number. If you're interested to learn more about audio conferencing, we have more information online. And then last, but certainly not least, I want to leave you with the top 10 reasons why you should be hosting your meetings with Microsoft Teams. We think that these are the differentiators. We think that these are the value prop. We think that these are the things that are going to make you, our meetings warriors, look like here with your organization. And so with that, I see a lot of you taking pictures, which is great. In this room in 30 minutes, I'm actually going to start talking about what's new with Microsoft Teams. And I'm going to do it from two perspectives. A lot of the new features that we've announced in the last quarter, even this week, we're going to demo. It's going to be very demo-rich. And then I have an esteemed colleague with me who's going to talk about the quality and reliability that we've built into Microsoft Teams. And so I hope you guys can come back in 30 minutes to learn more. And then you can see here, we've completed the first of 5 in this learning path. So as I mentioned, what's new is coming up next. This afternoon, we have Microsoft Teams Rooms. And I saw a few of you raise your hand, but if you're not familiar with Microsoft Teams Rooms, they can transform your conference room. So if you're not able to make the session, of course, all of these are available on demand once you get home. Come visit us in our booth. We actually have a lot of Teams purpose-built devices available for you to demonstrate hands-on and ask all the questions from all of our experts. And so with that, we have about a minute left, but the good news is I'm here this session next. So if any of you have particular questions, feel free to come up to the stage, and I'm happy to answer them, or you can come visit us in the booth, speak with a ton of experts that are with us. And so with that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great Ignite.